Hi, my name is Clark Nelson, and this is how to understand ages written in Genesis chapter 5 using ancient calendars. Basic lunar solar calendar operation really is a simple way to count time. Ages of Adam from Time Emits is a unique Bible study that develops mental calendar tools. Research extracts calendar fragments and patterns from the early Jewish, Mayan, and Egyptian calendars. Adapting these calendar tools enables you to learn about the begat genealogy ages following Adam. Like an archaeologist reassembles pottery shards, you will discover vast time layers written in archaic style. I hope to show you a new spiritual place from the oldest of sources. TimeSplit's video explores the TimeSplit tool used in Ages of Adam and the Holy of Holies. A TimeSplit divides given time frames by 2. Genesis 1:4 says God divided the daylight from darkness. Everything we call solar deals with the sun and daylight. Nighttime darkness relates to the moon. God is dividing, separating, or coming between light and darkness. Lunar phase and Sabbath days mark weekly transitions at night. God is between 7-day Sabbaths that separate visible moonlight and darkness. The complete lunar month returns the sequence to new moon crescent. God refreshes the lunar month after about 29.53 days to make the 12-month lunar year slightly more than 354 days long. Ancient people commonly recognized years having only 360 days. Some cultures, such as BCE Egyptian and later Roman empires, favored the solar year. They added a 5-day feast period to end the year and celebrate the new year. Earliest solar worship likely occurred in fixed city-state locations, where Seth Egyptian obelisk and Canaanite Baal standing stones share masculine traits. Stone pillar sightings to the horizon note the equinox and solstice. Fertility rites likewise represent the deity with phallic symbolism. Agricultural rainy seasons determine how well stable populations survive. Mobile cultures were more nomadic and often classified as hunter-gatherers. They observed according to lunar solar calendars. Other groups were entirely lunar calendar dependent. Isis had unique affinity with the moon and Venus. Astarte, or Astaroth, was depicted by a pregnant figurine and said to bless neighboring farms and groves. Feminine-masculine duality became imbued as goddess or gods with lunar solar time splits in theme. Please take a moment to study these pictures and gain deeper appreciation for Genesis. Ancient ideas of God coming between lunar and solar transitions carry forward to longer calendar time cycles. Variable flux lines between lunar and solar sides focus power to yield a time split. We first apply 360 days as an early style year. Lunar solar time split for 360-day tune year diagram balances the dual years. Mayan 360-day tune year terminology lends accepted calendar tools. Adding 5.25 days to the solar side component better suits Mayan calendar vocabulary used to develop later time splits. Equal reasoning subtracts 5.25 days from the lunar side component to result in 10.5 days of lunar solar separation time for any single 360-day year. The green triangle time split emphasizes that God is between lunar years and solar years. 10 1/2 days of difference every year require intercalary time to keep lunar years on track with solar years. We build time splits to encompass longer time cycles. Lunar and solar years are rigid boundaries of all time. Time splits are the soft inner core. Intercalations and how they are used host the supernatural. Gaps, seams, and separations in time make possible divine presence. Time splits progress to include the Jewish calendar 19-year metonic cycle. The next 20th solar year modifies the time split diagram. Similar lunar solar calendars to the later Mayan gave rise to 20-year cycles. 20 multiples of 20-year cycles diagram the modified lunar solar time split. We assembled the time split ramp that leads to Adam and the list of antediluvian patriarchs in Genesis 5. Previous Ages of Adam videos explore the 19-year lunar solar cycle with associated 209-day lunar solar separation time. We started with the Jewish calendar, which explains ideas about God coming between daylight and darkness. Judaism changes the day just after sundown. Subordinate to a single God without form or flesh, a duality exists regarding time. The nighttime lunar side of lunar solar calendars has a feminine nature, while the daylight solar side aligns with masculine sky father concepts. Visible observations compound the same belief set by lengthening lunar solar reckoning. God is still coming between lunar and solar sides of the calendar. A 19-year lunar solar cycle works great for one time through. When you start the next 19 years, you need a different way to record time. Otherwise, you're right back where you started. Suppose you're riding in God's car along the 360-day road about 2500 BCE. Car looks like the Flintstones or something. The 360-day center line divides a one-way road having two lanes. One lane is marked lunar, and the other lane is solar. At first, there are 209 days of difference between lunar and solar sides. Women are holding signs that say 19 years by the lunar side. Men, in contrast, stand along the solar side of the road, and they too hold signs that say 19 years. You drive this road for a long time and notice that every 19-year part looks the same. You finally cross this 20-year line where the road changes to 210 days of difference between lunar and solar sides. The 20-year part has two lanes with 105 days each. Men and women along the road now have signs that read 20 years. Men improved their signs by adding numbers to count 20-year cycles. As you pass their signs, you know how many 20-year lunar solar cycles have elapsed. Signs change 20-year units to show total distance. The Jewish calendar shows the Lord's presence by changing the days just after sundown, continuous weekly Sabbaths, and finally with lunar solar separation time. The Jewish calendar currently utilizes a 19-year metonic cycle. Some 209 days of lunar solar separation time divide 19 lunar years from 19 solar years. Greek astronomer Meton discovered 19 solar years coincide with about 235 monthly lunations in 432 BCE. 7 extra months add with 19 lunar years to make 6,940 days. Lunar solar calendar systems were established long before Meton. Geographically isolated groups worshipped according to various lunar-solar calendars. Meton likely revised model lunar-solar rules that eventually became standard for all Judaism. Roman advances into Holy Lands pressured Hillel II to adopt the metonic 19-year cycle in 359 CE. 7 intercalary months called Second Adar are added during the course of 19 years. Jewish calendar lunar-solar separation time measures about 209 days in the green triangle time split. God is between lunar and solar years. The first Ages of Adam video introduces you to the TimeEmits.com website. Presentation slides, videos, and full text for Ages of Adam are available. You may order Ages of Adam in hard print edition from Amazon or CreateSpace.com. Search for the title, Ages of Adam, my name, Clark Nelson, Time Emits, or ISBN 159-109-5573. You may also purchase the PDF download through PayPal for only $9.95. Each section of Ages of Adam has a specific link. Other resources include articles and links to related sites. We identified certain facets of lunar-solar calendars, the Bible, and associated prehistorical concepts leading to recorded time. Lunar months often counted 29.5 days or 30 days. Ancient people chose to think mainly in whole number terms and rounded lunar and solar measurements accordingly. Some cultures followed lunar phases as 7-day weeks. Equation 1 results in a 354-day lunar year. Others maintain solar side reckoning, which regularly accompanies star and planetary aspects. Equation 2 subtracts 354 days from a 365-day solar year to amount 11 days of lunar-solar separation every single year. Nearly all ancient people relied upon some variation of lunar-solar calendars in order to maintain agricultural seasons. 3 subjects are of special concern: God, time, and calendars. Please understand that I don't want to offend anybody. We are dealing with quite possibly the oldest written evidence of lunar-solar calendar operation in Genesis chapter 5. Traditional Jewish calendar reckoning counts about 11 days of lunar-solar time split every year to achieve 209 days of lunar-solar separation time over a 19-year cycle. Variations were in effect during prehistoric ages of Genesis. 7 Antediluvian Patriarchs are listed in dynastic order beginning with Adam. We identified 2 ages for each character. Primary ages span from the start of each character's life until he begat or fathered his next listed son. Secondary ages span remaining lifetimes. Adam lives 130 years primary age until the birth of Seth. Adam's secondary age extends another 800 years until his death. Primary and secondary ages record the antediluvian pre-flood forefathers using 10 1/2 days of lunar-solar separation time measured over 20-year cycles. Genesis immortalizes the Antediluvian Patriarchs with floating kingless style. The Antediluvian calendar forms a lunar-solar calendar backbone without reference to other before common or Christian era dated events. Think of these ages as dynamic real-time transcription, written by combining numbers and words and based entirely upon actual observation. Precise meanings have been lost to the millenniums since then. BCE date stamps are substitutes for authenticity. You have discovered a fascinating Holy Bible study via applied calendar science. Basic Jewish calendar information has been imparted, and you are thinking about time with an early mindset. God's Spirit is integral to the 360-day length of year, driving time between two calendar poles, a lunar side aligned with darkness and a solar side aligned with daylight. In the next video, we begin building layers of time by adding more time cycles. Learn what happens to the antediluvian calendar in later history. Ties between unrelated groups will become apparent. New appreciation will be discovered for monotheism and mythology. You can always get more time at timeemits.com.